chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not an accident. This is not a random video. This is destiny pounding on the door of your life, refusing to be ignored. If these words have found you, it's because heaven itself signed the delivery. You have been the fortress in the firestorm, the unshakable wall when the world cracked open beneath others' feet. You've carried burdens you never asked for, fought wars no one saw, and stood guard while others slept. But even steel bends under enough fire, and even mountains, over centuries, are reshaped. Now, the divine script is shifting. Someone marked by heaven is about to step into your story and rewrite your destiny, not to overpower you, but to lift you into a height you didn't even know existed. If you can feel it in your spirit, if you know this message was meant for you, comment 777 right now as a sign that you're ready. And to every single soul who's fueled this mission through, super thanks. My heart is with you. My gratitude is beyond words. Your faith keeps this fire burning, because what's coming next will shake the very ground beneath you. And when it arrives, nothing will ever be the same again. Let's step into it, God's chosen ones. Someone's about to step in and rewrite your destiny. There comes a moment when even the strongest foundations feel the tremor. Chosen one, you have lived as a fortress in a world that constantly shifts, an anchor in seas that threaten to swallow others whole. You have been the unshakable rock when the storms hit, the fire that keeps burning when night falls cold, like the North Star guiding sailors through uncharted waters. People have navigated their darkest nights by your light. But here is the truth that feels dangerous to admit: stars burn out. Even the most enduring pillars crack under enough relentless pressure. It's been your blessing and your burden, this role of holding others together while quietly wondering if anyone would hold you. The Apostle Paul understood this tension when he wrote, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair." 2 Corinthians 4-8. Your days have been a silent contract you never signed, yet faithfully fulfilled, patching broken pieces, listening to fears, offering warmth even when your own fire dimmed. But when was the last time someone saw you, not for what you could fix, but for who you are without the armor? Not the healer, not the protector, just the soul forged in sacrifice and endurance. King David, despite his victories, wrote, "I am worn out from my groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping." Psalm 6-6. If even a man after God's own heart could admit his breaking point, what makes you think you're not allowed to rest? History reminds us that strength without rest can breed collapse. General Charles de Gaulle, the wartime leader of France, once said, "A man of character finds a special attractiveness in difficulty, since it is only by coming to grips with difficulty that he can realize his potentialities." Yet even de Gaulle knew the battle. Hardened must retreat to regroup. And there is a darker example, a cautionary shadow. Samson, gifted with supernatural strength, believed he could stand alone forever. But his refusal to discern who he could trust led to betrayal, blinding, and chains. The tragedy wasn't just the loss of his power, it was that he never let anyone stand beside him in his fight until it was too late. Every time you've told yourself, "I'm fine," you've stacked another invisible brick to hold back a flood. But walls, no matter how high, are not eternal. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This is not weakness, it is design. Even the fiercest warrior must lay down their sword long enough to breathe. Even the mightiest oak bends to the wind or risks being uprooted. Perhaps that is why this moment is arriving, this divinely appointed encounter. Someone is about to step in, not to rescue you, but to complement you. They will not overshadow you. They will meet you where your strength begins to fray. They will read the unspoken weight on your shoulders without a single explanation. Saint Teresa of Avila once wrote, "Christ has no body now but yours. Yet in the mysterious architecture of heaven, God sometimes sends another body, another heart, to bear with you what you were never meant to carry alone." Imagine what it will feel like when your resilience meets theirs. When the cracks you've hidden become places where light can enter. At first, you might resist. Trusting someone with your burdens feels like handing over the key to a vault you've guarded your entire life. But what if it's not surrender? What if it's synergy? The prophet Isaiah declared, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor." Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Actually, Scripture affirms it across multiple books. What if your next chapter isn't about standing taller alone, but rising higher together? Giants cast shadows when they fall, but what if instead of falling, you learn to lean? What if this was the chapter where the strong one becomes the one who is strengthened? In the play, The Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare writes, "How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a naughty world." That candle might not just be you anymore, it might be both of you, burning brighter than you ever imagined. Chosen one. This is not the end of your strength, it's the multiplication of it. You have carried the weight long enough. Heaven is whispering now, "The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me." Psalm 28:7. Step into this divine partnership and watch as your destiny is rewritten with hands strong enough to hold you and a heart brave enough to walk beside you. Rise, not because you are weary, but because your strength is about to become unstoppable. The universe rarely announces destiny with fanfare. Chosen one. It will not drape the heavens with neon signs or roll thunder through the skies for all to hear. No, when heaven begins to shift the plates beneath your life, it often speaks in a whisper, a barely audible breath that moves through the quiet corridors of your days. These are not random moments, but strands in an intricate tapestry you have yet to see in full. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. And if you have ever wondered why the silence sometimes feels heavier than noise, it's because silence is where God often hides his loudest answers. In those still hours, he threads the beginnings of miracles. Each pause you've felt in life may have been heaven's breath before the exhale that changes everything. Have you noticed the subtle pull lately? That invisible tug? Like a change in the wind before the first lightning streak touches the horizon. Maybe it's a faint vibration in the air. The same stillness the earth feels just before a summer storm rolls in, when the leaves on the trees turn upward as if they know rain is coming. Your spirit recognizes this shift before your mind can name it. Could it be that this is not mere emotion, but the early tremor of an arrival, a soul woven into your story long before you took your first breath? And what if that recognition is the compass God planted in you to ensure you do not miss this moment? Sometimes the wind doesn't push you, it calls you. And when it does, every other noise seems to fade. You may have found yourself shedding old skins, abandoning habits that once defined you, stepping out of roles that no longer fit. Just as the snake's molting is not a loss but a renewal, so too your release is not about emptiness, but about making room. Even Jesus spoke of this holy pruning. Every branch that does bear fruit he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. John 15:2. This inner clearing is the universe's preparation for something that will not simply enter your life but transform it. Like the forest floor after a fire, what seems stripped and bare will soon burst with green life. Stronger than before, you may not yet see the sprouts, but deep in the soil of your spirit, the roots are already strengthening. Sometimes the removal of what is familiar is not loss. It is God planting something eternal. Sometimes the signs arrive in unusual ways, an unexpected journey to a place you'd never considered. A conversation overheard in a cafe that seems written just for you, or the repeated appearance of numbers that catch your breath. 11, 11. Ardian Arsharfen, the psalmist, once wrote, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord." Psalm 37:23. And perhaps these small synchronicities are the divine's breadcrumbs, guiding you one deliberate step at a time. Imagine God as a master gardener, dropping seeds in your path, knowing exactly which ones you'll pick up. You think you are moving randomly, but in reality, you are walking through a garden He planted for this very encounter. And isn't it curious how the smallest details, a color, a sound, a phrase can feel like the echo of a voice you haven't yet met. Nature itself whispers in patterns. Think of the salmon that swim upstream against impossible currents. Drawn by an inner compass they cannot explain. In the same way, your soul is already navigating toward this divine appointment. Even while your mind questions every unfamiliar turn, isn't it strange how what we call coincidence often feels more like choreography? The moon pulls the tides without a single word. Perhaps heaven has been pulling you in the same silent way. And sometimes, like migrating birds that instinctively know when to take flight, your spirit already knows the season has changed before your eyes can see it. Could it be that every restless feeling you've had lately is the soul's migration toward its appointed meeting? In Victor Hugo's Les Misérables, a character says, "To love another person is to see the face of God." This meeting, chosen one, may not begin as love in the common sense, but it will be love in its highest form, the kind that reflects the divine back to you. They will be both storm and still water, a mirror revealing the strength you forgot and the tenderness you buried. And when you stand in their presence, it will be like recognizing a song you've never heard yet, somehow already know. That recognition will not be forged in words, but in the unspoken harmony between two souls aligned before the foundations of the earth. This is the kind of connection that does not just appear, it arrives carrying the fingerprints of God. But here is a question worth holding close. Are you truly watching for these signs? Or have they passed before you unnoticed, disguised as ordinary moments? The truth is, miracles often walk through the door wearing the clothes of everyday life. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. Hebrews 13:2. If angels can walk unnoticed through human streets, how many blessings have brushed past you in plain sight? Awareness is not just about seeing, it's about recognizing, and recognition is the doorway through which divine appointments step in. When this encounter comes, it will not be to save you. You've fought wars and stood through nights darker than most could survive. This will be a convergence of forces, a meeting of equal strength. Together, your resonance will be like two tuning forks vibrating at the same frequency, amplifying a sound that cannot be silenced. And yet, it will also be the calm harbor after years of navigating storms alone. It will not take from you, it will multiply you. And when two streams converge, they do not weaken, they create a river stronger than either could have been alone. Chosen one. The whispers are no longer faint, they are becoming a steady drumbeat in the unseen. But can you feel how the pace of your spirit has changed? As if something beyond the horizon is already calling your name. Be strong and take heart. All you who hope in the Lord. Psalm 31-24. Follow the pull. Heed the nudges. Trust the divine winds at your back. The path is not random. The chessboard has been set for years. And the next move belongs to you. Step forward. Your destiny waits. And the one who will shift the axis of your life is already on their way. Chosen one. Meeting someone stronger than you will feel like standing before a mirror that doesn't merely reflect your outer resilience, it refracts it. Like light passing through a prism, revealing colors you didn't know existed. This is not the mirror you encounter in passing, it is more like the stained glass in a cathedral, designed not just to show an image, but to illuminate the story behind it. Their presence will not only acknowledge the power you've spent a lifetime cultivating, it will cast light into the corners you've kept hidden, showing the architecture of your soul, the way an archaeologist uncovers the foundation stones of an ancient city. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Proverbs 20-5. The intensity of their arrival will feel both strangely familiar and utterly foreign, where your strength has been forged in the furnace of surviving storms. Theirs may come from a different elemental source, quiet wisdom, emotional depth, or an unshakable belief in their God-given identity. Think of it as resonance in physics, two frequencies vibrating in harmony, not because they are identical, but because they complement one another. They will meet your fire not with fire, but with water steady, patient, and enduring. Like a river that carves through stone over centuries, this is not a power struggle, it is an awakening. Could it be that the reason you've never encountered such a presence before is because the scaffolding of your life had to be strong enough to hold this new weight? They will not overshadow or compete with you. Instead, they will become the constant. You never realized you were missing the one who doesn't flinch when your intensity rises, who stands firm when your defenses spike. They will honor your independence, but they will also see beyond it. Their gaze will pierce the invisible ramparts you've built from years of survival, the way X-rays penetrate steel without breaking it. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of him to whom we must give account. Hebrews 4:13. And unlike those who have been dazzled by your power, they will notice the fatigue beneath your resilience, the loneliness behind your leadership, and the tenderness buried under your silence. At first, you may resist. Letting someone that close can feel like placing a blueprint of your most vulnerable chambers into another's hands, a weapon, if wielded wrongly. But this person is not here to dismantle your structure. They are here to reinforce it. They will teach you that true strength is not measured by how much you can carry alone, but by how much weight you can share without collapsing. Psychologists call this distributed load bearing. When the stress across a structure is shared, it lasts exponentially longer. What if your life was never meant to be a single beam under infinite strain? This truth will echo in every interaction with them. They will push you to confront your deepest fears, not with force, but with unwavering support. They will help you see that vulnerability is not the opposite of strength, it is its most refined alloy. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness, 2 Corinthians 12-9. And in their presence, you will realize that needing someone does not diminish you, it completes you. Together, your strengths will form a bond unlike anything you've known before. It will be like two arches leaning into one another in Gothic architecture, where the pressure of each supports the other, allowing the whole structure to soar higher than either could alone. Steve Jobs, a man who understood the fusion of vision and execution, once said, "Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people." If that's true for building empires, how much more for building destinies? Chosen one. This connection is not just about meeting someone strong, it is about unlocking a dimension of strength you have never touched. It is about discovering that when two lives align under heaven's blueprint, the combined force becomes unshakable. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Ecclesiastes 4:12. In this mirror, you will not just see who you are, you will see who you were always meant to become. And when you do, rise. For heaven has set this moment in motion, long before you knew it was coming. Chosen one. This person is not entering your life to simply stand quietly at your side. They have been sent to dismantle the limits you've accepted as permanent. Their arrival will become a living testimony that strength is not a static state but a living, breathing journey. You may believe you've already reached the summit after years of hardship and endurance, but their presence will point toward horizons you didn't know were there. Not that I have already obtained all this, or have already arrived at my goal, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ Jesus took hold of me. Philippians 3:12. Could it be that your story has not reached its pinnacle, but is only stepping into its most defining chapter? One of the first truths they will weave into your life is the power of balance. After years of being the anchor for others, the one who bore the emotional weight in silence, the idea of someone else carrying part of that load may feel foreign, even dangerous. You've been the giver, the problem solver, the relentless protector, the unshakable foundation when everyone else's world was falling apart. Yet this person will hold up a mirror that forces you to confront what you've long avoided. You don't have to carry it all. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Galatians 6:2. Will you let them step into the space you've always guarded? Or will you cling to the solitude that nearly broke you? Their strength will not allow excuses or self-imposed isolation. They will challenge the part of you that has mistaken independence for invincibility. This is where the lesson deepens, not in teaching you to fight harder, but in teaching you to let someone else fight with you. Pope John Paul II once said, "The future starts today, not tomorrow." And in their presence, you will feel that urgency to stop postponing your own healing under the weight of constant responsibility. But there is also a shadow side to this lesson, a caution carved into the history of those who refused it. Take King Saul, for example, a man who began with God's anointing, but ended consumed by jealousy and paranoia. He could not receive the help or partnership offered to him. Instead, he viewed allies as threats. The result was his downfall, his crown torn from him, and his legacy stained by fear. Refusing to share the burden does not preserve power, it corrodes it from the inside. Could this be the very trap God is saving you from by sending this person into your life now? As you walk with them, you will come to see that asking for help is not surrender. It is courage in its purest form. In fact, it magnifies your power, not diminishes it. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. Ecclesiastes 4:9. The walls you've built to keep pain out will slowly become bridges that allow trust in, and once that bridge is crossed, you will discover that shared battles forge an unbreakable alliance. Chosen one. This connection is not an interruption, it is an elevation. It is God showing you that your destiny was never meant to be carried alone. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. Psalm 28:7. Rise now, not to fight harder, but to walk farther with someone at your side whose strength will draw out the fullness of your own. The journey ahead is not about surviving alone. It is about conquering together, chosen one. To release the belief that you must always be. The fortress is not weakness, it is the opening of a new chapter. This person's next gift to you will be perspective. They will see the world through a lens carved by trials that look nothing like yours, yet hold truths you have never considered. Their battles will not mirror your own, but the wisdom they carry will illuminate angles you've never turned your gaze toward. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Proverbs 15:22. Could it be that the view you've clung to for so long has been only one side of a mountain you were meant to climb together, like a traveler who has always seen the sunrise from the same shore? You may not realize that there is an entirely different beauty on the far side of the horizon, waiting to meet your eyes. And when that horizon comes into view, you will know it was worth the long journey through them. Your mind will stretch in directions you didn't know it could go. They will hold a lantern to your blind spots, the places too close for you to see. Much like the way a forest canopy hides the seeds germinating in its shadow, you will discover potentials you never imagined were already planted within you. They will remind you that strength is not simply endurance, it is transformation. Like the caterpillar's surrender into the chrysalis before it emerges into something beyond its original design. And in the same way, rivers carve valleys over centuries. They will shape your perspective so gradually, yet so profoundly, that you'll look back and hardly recognize the narrow path you once walked. The change will not be forced. It will be invited, drawn out by presence rather than pressure. Yet perhaps the deepest and most disarming lesson they will give you is trust. Trust has always been a difficult terrain for you, rocky, uneven, littered with the remnants of betrayal. You've been let down, left standing alone, too many times to count. You've built walls so high they block even your own view of what lies beyond. But this person will not turn away at the sight of those walls. Like the roots of a tree that quietly push through stone over years, they will find their way into the fortress you've guarded. And when they do, you will feel the strange relief of realizing that not everyone approaches with the intent to take. They may simply be there to stay. Even the mountains, steadfast as they seem. Let the rain soak deep into their heart. Perhaps it's time for you to do the same. They will not demand your trust. They will earn it. Slowly, steadily, through actions that outlast promises, and through a presence that remains even when the storms rise. But how do you know when someone's presence is more than words, when it's a shelter in the storm rather than just a passing shadow? The Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. And in their patience, you will learn that trust is not blind faith. It is the steady knowledge that someone will still be standing there when you are at your lowest. They will become like the lighthouse on a dangerous coast, not moving toward you, but always shining, so you know where safe harbor lies. Even when you drift into fog, you will remember their light. More importantly, they will lead you back to trusting yourself again, trusting that you are worthy of love and support, trusting that vulnerability will not dismantle your identity, but deepen it, trusting that you can rise, not alone, this time, but with someone beside you, step for step. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm, then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again. Galatians 5:1. And as you reclaim that trust in yourself, The world will subtly change around you. Doors that seemed sealed will swing open. Opportunities you thought were for other people will now be within your reach. What once felt like impossible heights will simply feel like the next steps. What if the very battles you thought would break you were the chisels shaping you into something unshakable? The transformation will not come without resistance. These lessons will stretch you, challenge you, and dismantle beliefs you thought were unshakable. But in their wake, you will find something far greater than the armor you've carried. You will find freedom, the kind of freedom that does not come and go with circumstances, but takes root like an oak planted beside living waters. In Victor Hugo's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, there is a line, "Life is a flower of which love is the honey." This connection will be that honey, sweet, enduring, drawn from seasons of patience and trust. And when the walls fall away and you stand in that open field, the wind on your face will feel different. It will feel like a possibility. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken but endures forever. Psalm 125:1. And once you taste that possibility, you will never settle for the prison of isolation again. Chosen one, you were never meant to stand alone forever. Lay down the fortress not to abandon your strength, but to discover its truest form. Rise into this new trust, and watch as the freedom you've longed for steps into your life, not as a fleeting moment, but as a permanent dwelling. When that day comes, you will not look back with regret. You will wonder why you waited so long to open the gates. Chosen one. The person stepping into your life is not coming to orbit quietly in your atmosphere. They are arriving as a force that will alter your gravitational field entirely. This is not a cameo appearance. This is a co-architect sent to draft the next phase of your destiny with you. Together, you won't simply inhabit the same story. You will write entire volumes that cannot be erased. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. Ecclesiastes 4-9. What if the dreams you thought were too heavy to carry alone were always meant to be lifted by two sets of hands? And what happens when those hands are guided by the same divine blueprint, like two master builders working from the same plan, each with unique tools? Your combined work will rise faster and stronger than either could imagine. It will feel less like adding another person into your world, and more like your world suddenly expanding to fit what heaven had in mind all along. This is not mere partnership, it is the merging of two storms into a singular, unstoppable current. In physics, when two waves meet in perfect phase, they produce constructive interference, creating a peak far greater than either wave alone. That is what your meeting will be, a surge of force that magnifies every ounce of potential in both of you. Their ambitions will not copy yours, but will run parallel, like twin rivers that eventually converge to form a torrent capable of reshaping landscapes. Where you see walls, they will see load-bearing columns that can be reworked into archways. Where you hesitate, they will step forward without blinking, their momentum pulling you into terrains you once feared to enter. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Psalm 37-23. And as you move together, you'll realize it's not just their courage pulling you forward, it's the faith they carry, an unshakable belief that your union is a God-ordained strategy to dismantle the limits that have surrounded you for years. Even your hesitations will become fuel for their drive, and their momentum will ignite new levels of boldness in you. Their energy will not merely complement yours, it will amplify it, turning sparks into a wildfire of possibility. The push you give each other will not be timid but catalytic, like the sudden ignition of a combustion engine designed to break inertia. They will see in you the unbuilt cathedral, the structural vision that exists only in sketches in your heart, and they will dare you to raise it stone by stone, and you will do the same for them. Breaking apart ceilings they've mistaken for the sky. Could it be that your limits have never been real, but only untested? With your help I can advance against a troop. With my God I can scale a wall. Psalm 18:29. You will find yourselves not just building something visible, but reinforcing the invisible foundation's character, faith, endurance that can withstand storms for decades to come. And in those moments, you'll feel the strange certainty that this connection is not random, it is a covenant assignment. This alliance will stretch far beyond personal achievement. What you build together will outlive you, rippling through lives you'll never meet, echoing in spaces you'll never enter. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Like an architect whose designs continue to shelter generations, or like a scientist whose discovery changes the trajectory of entire fields, your combined work will become a testament. The question is, are you ready to release control of the pen and let God write the next chapters with 4 hands instead of 2? There will be days when your vision feels too vast to map, but this is where your faith will turn into blueprints, drawn not in ink, but in trust. The more you lean into the shared mission, the more you'll see heaven's fingerprints on every detail. There was a moment in the career of aerospace engineer Wernher von Braun, considered the father of rocket technology, when he said, "I have learned to use the word impossible with the greatest caution." He understood that the laws of physics were not barriers, but parameters for innovation. In the same way, this connection will redefine the boundaries you thought were fixed. You will look at the impossible not as a wall, but as scaffolding, something to climb, dismantle, and rebuild higher. With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Like engineers recalculating trajectories mid-flight, you will learn to adjust and adapt together, always aiming higher. And over time, you will stop asking if it can be done. You will start asking how soon you can begin. Chosen one. This is not about chasing success for its own sake or ticking off goals on a list. It is about entering a resonance that heaven has been fine-tuning long before you knew to listen. When this person arrives, you will feel it in your bones, like the stillness of an arena before the final decisive match begins. A tension so charged that you know something world-shifting is about to happen. And when you step into that moment together, it will not just be history, it will be prophecy fulfilled. Rise, for the forging has begun, and the fire you carry is about to become uncontainable. You will not just witness change, you will be the catalyst for it, leaving a mark that time cannot erase. Chosen one. What you are about to create together is not aimless. It is creation with razor-sharp purpose. The energy you build will not be contained. It will radiate outward in waves, touching people you may never meet, transforming spaces you may never step into. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. There will be those who feel your impact without ever hearing your names through the work you do, the passion you carry, and the way your unity inspires others to believe in something greater than themselves. Could it be that the very bond you form will become a testimony, not just for your generation, but for those yet unborn? And as time passes, that testimony will not fade, but will deepen, like a river that cuts its path deeper with each passing season. Even in silence, your combined influence will echo, reminding others that alignment with God's will is more powerful than any stage or spotlight. Yet this path will not always feel certain. There will be days when the horizon is obscured, when the mountain ahead looks impossible, and when risks loom like storms on the edge of your vision. Doubt will creep in like shadows before the first light of dawn, whispering that the task is too great. But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1-7. In those moments, you will lean not just on your own strength, but on theirs, and they on yours. Trust will become your foundation. Trust in their resilience. Trust in your own calling. And trust in the shared fire between you that refuses to be extinguished. And every trial will become a kind of training ground, shaping you into warriors who know how to stand when the wind howls and the ground trembles. You will realize that storms don't come to destroy aligned hearts. They come to prove their endurance. Surrender, you will learn, is not defeat. It is the highest form of faith in the process. It is knowing that when you release your white-knuckled grip on control, you make space for God to weave His design in ways you could never orchestrate on your own. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3-5. Together, leaning into the unknown will become less of a gamble and more of a daily rhythm. And every time you choose to let go, the results will remind you that divine alignment is more powerful than personal strategy. You'll find that what God delivers is often far beyond what you dared to ask for, crafted with details you didn't even know you needed. It's in this surrender that miracles will take root, growing quietly until the day they burst into view. This is where preparation meets fulfillment. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every hard-earned victory has been a chisel in the hands of the master sculptor, shaping you for this very connection. Winston Churchill once said, "To each, there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing. This is your shoulder tap. Chosen one. The question is, will you answer it? And when you do, will you step forward with hesitation? Or will you run toward it with the confidence of someone who knows heaven's been preparing them for years? The moment you say yes, the ground beneath you will shift, not in chaos, but in alignment, like the locking of gears in a divine machine. Every gift from heaven carries a shadow. How you guard it determines whether it becomes a crown or a curse. But let this also be a warning. History is littered with those who squandered divine partnerships. Cain, who had the opportunity to walk in fellowship with his brother, yet allowed jealousy to poison his spirit. His inability to value the gift before him led not only to personal ruin, but to a curse that marked him for life. If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. Genesis 4-7. Your connection will be powerful, but it will require stewardship. Protect it from pride, from comparison, from the slow erosion of taking each other for granted. If Cain's story teaches anything, it's that neglect and resentment can dismantle what God intended to bless. And you, chosen one, have been entrusted with something too precious to lose. Chosen one. This is where destiny meets action. This is where purpose ignites into something eternal. One can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000 to flight. Deuteronomy 32-30. You will not just move mountains, you will reshape the very landscape of what is possible. This is the power of two unyielding souls, aligned by heaven, driven by purpose, and determined to leave an imprint that time itself cannot erase. You were never meant to stand alone forever. Your fire has met its equal. Now, Forge together something that will never be forgotten. And when you do, you will realize that the legacy you've created is not just your own, it is heaven's handiwork, written through your lives for the world to read. Chosen one. The path you're about to walk with this person will not be paved in ease or lined with comfort. Meeting someone stronger than you does not promise a life free of conflict. It promises transformation. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. This connection is not designed to help you avoid storms. It is meant to teach you how to face them together, emerging sharper, wiser, and more unshakable than before. Like the river that deepens its course by colliding with rock, friction will be inevitable. Two powerful souls coming together is like fire meeting steel, intense, volatile, and ultimately transformative. And those sparks will fly. Those sparks are not signs of destruction. They are the first flashes of something being forged to last for eternity. What if the very storms you fear now are the winds that will fill the sails of your shared destiny? Their strength will challenge yours in ways that feel disorienting or even uncomfortable at times. Discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is the forge where growth lives, the soil where stronger roots are formed. Think of the cedar tree on the mountainside, whose roots drive deep into rock because it has been tested by wind. That is the kind of resilience you will gain together. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial. James 1:12. In those moments, you may find yourselves clashing when they hold their ground as firmly as you do. Yet each collision is not an ending, but a recalibration, shaping you both toward a greater form of unity. Over time, you will notice how your sharp edges begin to align, not because either of you diminished, but because the contact refined your angles into a perfect fit. It's in those very moments of resistance that the foundation of trust becomes unshakable. They will challenge you not to provoke, but to help you see beyond the boundaries you have built around your perspective. Just as the ocean reshapes a shoreline over time, their presence will gradually wear down the walls you have kept for so long. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Ephesians 4:2. In these moments, you will be confronted with parts of yourself you've hidden: the need for control, the fear of vulnerability, or the scars that still ache beneath your armor. These are not threats to your identity. They are invitations to expand your heart, deepen your understanding, and evolve together. And each time you choose to let the tide reach further in, you will discover that those hidden parts were not weaknesses at all. They were seeds waiting for the right season to grow. This is the season, and they are the rain you never knew you needed. Nature reminds us that the strongest elements are often formed through pressure. Diamonds are created deep in the earth under immense heat and weight. Pearls form in oysters through constant irritation. In the same way, your unity will be formed, not in ease, but in endurance. And there will be times when you realize that what feels like breaking is actually the sound of old limitations snapping away. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:3. And like gold in the crucible, the more you are exposed to heat, the more your impurities fall away, leaving only what is pure and enduring. Could it be that the very pressure you once tried to escape was the refining fire God intended to prepare you for this exact connection? In the words of the play Cyrano de Bergerac by Edmond Rostand, a great nose may be an inconvenient thing, but it is a sign of a great soul. The line may seem humorous, yet its meaning runs deep. True greatness is rarely without its challenges or peculiarities. Your bond may come with its own set of complexities, but those very complexities will be the markers of its authenticity. They will be the proof that it is not a shallow connection, but one built in the fire of shared trials, like the intricate knots in an old oak tree. Each twist and turn will tell a story of endurance, and each imperfection will become a sign of strength rather than shame. The more time passes, the more you'll realize that the marks left by struggle are the same marks that make the bond unbreakable. Chosen one. This is not a gentle dance, it is a refining blaze. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. Isaiah 43:2. Rise into it, not fearing the heat, but knowing that the fire is shaping you into something purer, stronger, and more radiant than you have ever been. The storms will come, the winds will howl, but together you will stand, two unyielding souls, tempered by flame, ready to face whatever the horizon holds. And when that day comes, you will look back on every moment of heat and friction and see them not as battles lost, but as victories carved into the very structure of who you have become, chosen one. Their presence will become a mirror, one that reflects not only the strength you carry, but also the blind spots you've ignored. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. 1 Corinthians 13:12. Where you have built walls for safety, they will invite you to lay the first stones of a bridge. Where you have clung to independence as a survival mechanism, they will teach you that surrender is not weakness, it is trust. In psychological terms, they will help you move from hyper-independence to secure interdependence, where your sense of self is not diminished but expanded through connection. This shift will feel at first like walking a suspension bridge you helped design but have never dared to cross every step, both terrifying and liberating. But what if that bridge doesn't just connect you to them, it connects you to the version of yourself you've been searching for all along? Growth will be your greatest creation together. They will push you to release what no longer serves you, the need to be right at all costs, the fear of leaning on someone else, and the unspoken belief that you must carry the weight of life alone. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. In architectural terms, it will be like removing load-bearing walls only to replace them with beams that allow for more open space and light. The process may be messy, but the result will be a structure that feels freer, brighter, and infinitely stronger. And if the demolition feels painful, could it be because the old walls were never meant to stand this long? They will teach you that allowing yourself to be fully seen flaws, and all is not the undoing of your strength, but its highest expression. And in return, your fire will awaken something in them they didn't know they needed. Your resilience will inspire them to push past their own ceilings, much like harmonic resonance in physics, where one vibrating object sets another into motion simply by existing in proximity. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. The rhythm of your courage will awaken their own, until you are both moving in a frequency that neither of you could have reached alone. What if the very flaws you've tried to hide become the exact keys that unlock their next breakthrough? Together, you will create a cycle of empowerment that feeds on shared struggles, turning adversity into fuel. When life tests you, and it will, you will not face those trials as two isolated warriors, but as a single unified force. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Ecclesiastes 4:12. This is not about perfect agreement in every moment. It is about the decision to choose each other in every season, even when the emotional terrain feels like the quiet just before a decisive championship round. You will know you have someone in your corner who will not retreat. The painter Vincent van Gogh, who once said, "Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together in the same way." Your connection will not be defined by grand, dramatic gestures alone, but by the accumulation of daily choices to listen, to support, to stand together even when the ground feels unstable. And each of those choices will be like laying another stone in the cathedral of trust you are building together, chosen one. What might have broken others will only fortify your bond, not because life will spare you hardship, but because you will face each test knowing the outcome is not determined by the storm, but by the strength of the structure you've built in unity. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. Psalm 28:7. And in the end, you will not just survive, you will rise, carrying the unshakable truth that your bond was designed not to avoid fire, but to be refined by it. Chosen one. Your strength will not be measured by the absence of storms, but by the way you rise through them. When you have done everything to stand, Ephesians 6:13 will become the quiet anthem of your journey together. This connection will teach you that true strength isn't about being unshaken, it's about being unbreakable together. You will discover the rhythm of knowing when to lean in and when to let go, when to fight with all you have, and when to surrender into the hands of God. And you will find that surrender is not loss. It is the moment faith steps forward and takes the lead. Have you ever wondered if some of your hardest battles were never meant to be fought alone? Through this bond, you will learn that rest is as essential as action, and that needing support is not weakness, but wisdom. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Just as seasoned warriors understand the importance of retreating to recover before the next battle, you will embrace the truth that strength also lives in restoration. There will be seasons when silence, prayer, and simply standing side by side will accomplish more than striving ever could. And in those moments, you will realize that resting in trust can be just as courageous as pressing forward. Could it be that the strength you've been seeking is actually found in shared stillness, not constant movement? The challenges you face will not define this partnership. Your responses will. Every disagreement, every test, every hardship will become the forge where trust, love, and commitment are refined beyond measure. This is the kind of refining fire Solomon spoke of when he said, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Proverbs 27:17. And as you pass through those flames together, you will come to see that every scar you bear is not a mark of defeat, but a seal of resilience. In time, those scars will become the language you both speak without words, the proof of battles fought and victories shared. History gives us powerful examples of this kind of perseverance. The Antarctic explorer Ernest Shackleton, faced with impossible odds when his ship Endurance was trapped in ice, chose not to abandon his crew or his mission against the cruelty of the elements. His steadfast leadership and trust in his team brought every man home alive. What if the very storms that threaten to sink you are actually the stage on which your greatest victories will be displayed? Shackleton's story is a reminder that unity in purpose can turn disaster into destiny, but only if both hearts remain committed to the mission. But there is also a warning etched in the lives of those who failed to guard what was entrusted to them. Think of Ananias and Sapphira in the book of Acts, people given the opportunity to be part of something holy, yet their choice to deceive brought swift destruction. You have not lied just to human beings, but to God. Acts 5-4. Their downfall was not due to lack of opportunity, but to the erosion of integrity. Your connection will require a sacred stewardship, guarding it from pride, secrecy, and the temptation to control rather than serve. Will you protect the trust you've built as fiercely as you protect your own life? Together, you will become something extraordinary, not because struggle is absent, but because of how you face it. You will rise from the fire, not merely as survivors, but as co-builders of something indestructible. One can put 1,000 to flight, and two can put 10,000 to flight. Deuteronomy 32:30. This is not just survival, it is transcendence. It is the transformation of every trial into testimony, every wound into a source of wisdom, every battle into a deeper covenant. And when the smoke clears, you will stand together, a living testament that what God joins, no fire can consume. And in that moment, you will know it was never just about enduring. It was about becoming unstoppable together, chosen one. For years, your life has been a silent battlefield where resilience was your only weapon. You stood like an unshaken cliff against crashing waves, measuring your worth by how much you could carry alone. You have faced storms without shelter, battles without allies, and nights where the stars seemed too far to hear your prayers. Yet have you ever wondered if God designed you not just to endure, but to be joined? Could it be that the very strength you've been praised for was never meant to be your permanent way of life, but rather the training ground for something far more glorious? Even the mightiest fortress is not built merely to stand, it is built to protect and welcome those who are meant to enter. Scripture reminds us in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow." What if the next chapter of your story is not about proving you can stand alone, but discovering the power of standing together? There is a holy synergy that happens when God weaves two paths into one, like two rivers meeting, creating a stronger current that carves valleys and nourishes entire lands. And perhaps this union is not simply for your comfort, but for the fulfillment of a divine mission that could never be completed in isolation. A person is about to enter your life, not just to offer comfort, but to share destiny. They will not break through your armor to wound you. They will see the soul it protects and honor it. Think of it as a great oak, allowing the sunlight to reach the roots of a neighboring tree, both growing stronger in shared soil. This is not dependency. This is divine architecture, designed by the master builder himself, who declared in Isaiah 41:10, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God." In their presence, you will discover the rare gift of being fully seen and still fully safe, a kind of trust that cannot be rushed, only revealed through time and truth. You will be challenged to let go of the belief that solitude equals strength. In truth, some of the bravest warriors are those who open the gate to their fortress and allow another inside. Even Jesus, on the night before his crucifixion, asked his disciples to watch and pray with him, Matthew 26:38. If the Son of God embraced companionship in his darkest hour, why would you refuse it now? Sometimes, the armor you think protects you is actually the weight that keeps you from moving forward. And when you finally lay it down in the presence of the right person, you will find yourself moving lighter, faster, and with a clearer vision than before. Nature itself teaches this truth. Rivers become mightier when tributaries join their flow. Wolves in a pack endure the winter far better than the lone hunter. The redwood trees of California, tall and unshakable, do not stand because of their depth alone, but because their roots intertwine with others, Could your life be on the verge of finding such an intertwining, like the hidden mycelium networks beneath forests that carry life from one tree to another? Unseen alliances often hold the greatest power, and when God is the one weaving that network, no force of darkness can sever it. And this moment, it will not be ordinary. It will feel like the moment in the Chronicles of Narnia when the Pevensey children first see Aslan the lion, whose presence melts fear and calls forth courage they did not know they had. You will sense it in your spirit, a resonance like two frequencies meeting to form a stronger wave. This is what Romans 12:5 speaks of. So we, though many, are one body in Christ, and individually members one of another. It will be as though heaven itself shifts the atmosphere, making the air heavier with meaning, the light softer yet sharper, and every heartbeat synchronized with purpose. Yet there is a test hidden within the blessing. Will you recognize this person as part of God's provision? Or will you cling to the comfort of isolation? For even in nature, a vine that refuses to attach will eventually wither. Your story is being rewritten not with ink, but with living connections, with prayers answered through human hands. Sometimes, the answer to years of intercession does not come in a voice from the clouds, but in the footsteps of a person who arrives at exactly the right time. And when that moment comes, you will know it is not coincidence, it is covenant. Remember the promise of Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. The one who comes will sharpen you not to wound, but to refine. Together, you will weather storms and walk through seasons no single soul could endure alone. And in that sharpening, your calling will not just survive, it will expand. The enemy fears what you will become when you are no longer standing alone. Chosen one, the time to stand alone has passed. You are being called into covenant, into partnership, into the kind of unity that shakes the gates of hell. Do not let fear rob you of what heaven has prepared. As Joshua 1:9 declares, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Rise now not as a solitary warrior, but as part of an unbreakable alliance forged by the hand of God. And when you rise, rise with the knowledge that you are stepping into the very story heaven wrote for you before the foundations of the earth. When life pushes every fiber of your being to the limit, this person will not compete with your strength, nor seek to overshadow it. They will magnify it, like a well-placed mirror in the hands of a master architect, reflecting light into every hidden chamber of your soul. They will set a fire in you that burns twice as bright, not by consuming your flame, but by adding fuel to it. You will not be asked to change the essence of who you are. Instead, they will invite you to stand as your truest self, without pretense, without armor, without the exhausting performance of invincibility. Could it be that God is sending someone not to replace your strength, but to reveal the version of you that even you have yet to fully see? In their presence, the self you've hidden, the one that longs to rest, to be known, to be loved without condition, will find sanctuary. You will look into their eyes and see something rare, acceptance without an agenda. It will be as if the frequencies of your hearts align, producing a resonance that science calls constructive interference. Two sound waves meeting to form one wave of greater amplitude. And this, chosen one, will not diminish your power, it will multiply it. What if the thing you've been calling weakness all this time is actually the very key to unlocking your next season of strength? Opening your heart will no longer feel like a gamble, it will feel like a revolution. Vulnerability will no longer be the battlefield you avoid, but the very ground where victory is won. As 2 Corinthians 12:9 declares, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." You will realize that allowing another to help you carry the weight does not make you fragile, it makes you unstoppable. The connection will not just inspire dreams, it will translate them into reality. Together, you will lay foundations like master builders, aligning purpose and vision the way ancient cathedrals were aligned with the stars, so that light would strike the altar at the precise moment of dawn. Every step you take will be driven by mutual belief, not only in yourselves, but in each other, and in the destiny God has entwined between you. How different would your life be if every step forward was matched by someone whose faith ran parallel to yours? I am reminded of the words of Florence Nightingale, the revolutionary nurse who transformed battlefield medicine. "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse." In the same way, this union will remove excuses. You will move as one, holding each other accountable to the highest calling, refusing to shrink when the path grows steep. The universe, or rather, the God who governs it, will respond to this unity with undeniable force. Doors you thought were sealed shut will swing open with the ease of a lock turned by the master key. The very atmosphere around you will change, as though heaven is tuning the frequency of your steps to match the rhythm of divine timing. This is the mystery of Matthew 18:19. "If two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven." And when opposition comes, and it will not find you alone. You will stand shoulder to shoulder, like two load-bearing columns in the same structure, distributing the weight so that nothing can collapse what God has built. The enemy does not fear talent or ambition. He fears alignment under heaven's blueprint. That is why this connection is not a luxury, it is a weapon. Chosen one, rise into this alliance. Let trust become your fortress and shared vision your foundation. This is the hour when vulnerability becomes your strength and partnership becomes your power. Step into it boldly, for you are not walking into the unknown, you are walking into the fulfillment of a design drawn by the architect of eternity himself. There was a time when walls surrounded you, not just physical barriers, but the kind built from years of carrying burdens alone. Yet now, opportunities are emerging that once seemed unreachable. With this covenant connection, your combined energy will ripple outward, like waves from a stone cast into still water, touching shores you could not have reached on your own. Lives will be changed, futures will be shaped, and legacies will be written because two streams have merged into one river. And when challenges come, and they will, you will not meet them as two separate fighters, but as one indomitable force. Scripture affirms this in Deuteronomy 32:30. How could one have chased 1,000 and two have put 10,000 to flight, unless the Lord had given them up in their presence? You will find that strength, when shared, is not halved, it is multiplied exponentially. Could it be that this multiplication is the missing element you've been praying for all along? I am reminded of what C.S. Lewis, the great British author, once wrote. Friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, "What, you too? I thought I was the only one." This partnership will feel like that, a divine recognition, a moment where your journeys intersect, not by coincidence, but by the hand of heaven. Together, you will not only endure storms, you will navigate them like seasoned sailors who understand that a ship moves fastest when the wind fills both sails. But let this also serve as a warning. History is filled with examples of those who squandered powerful alliances Demas, once a companion of the Apostle Paul, introduced in 2 Timothy 4:10. He abandoned Paul's mission out of love for the present world. His departure was not just a personal betrayal, it left a gap in the work of the gospel, a reminder that even the strongest partnerships can be undone when the heart turns away from purpose. Chosen one, guard this connection with prayer, with humility, and with vigilance. Your journey has been about rediscovering what true strength means, not only in standing alone but in standing together. Meeting someone stronger than you is not about losing power. It is about gaining access to a force greater than you could have imagined. It is about shared purpose, mutual growth, and building something that will outlast both of you, a living testimony that echoes into eternity. The best isn't just coming, it's already here. Step into it. Rise. This was never meant to be a solitary climb to the summit, but a joint ascent where two voices shout victory at the same moment. As Philippians 1:6 declares, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." Trust the process, stay open, and embrace what is coming. For your next chapter is not just unfolding, it has already begun to write itself in heaven's ink. Chosen one. When God brings two lives into alignment, the impact is never meant to stop with them. It spills over into generations. What you build together will not only bless your present, but will shape a future you may never fully see. Psalm 145:4 declares, "One generation shall commend your works to another, and shall declare your mighty acts." Imagine a covenant so strong that even your grandchildren will walk in its shade, benefiting from the roots you planted long before they were born. Think of William and Catherine Booth, founders of the Salvation Army. Their partnership was not confined to marriage. It was a joint mission that reshaped the streets of London, rescuing thousands from poverty and spiritual despair. They did not merely share a life, they shared a holy cause. What would happen if you treated your connection with the same urgency, that it is not just romance or companionship, but a divine assignment capable of altering history? But do not forget, such legacy building attracts opposition. One need only remember the tragic alliance between King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. Instead of using their influence for righteousness, they united in corruption, leading Israel deeper into idolatry and injustice. Their story in 1 Kings 21 is a sobering reminder that unity without righteousness becomes a weapon in the wrong hands. Guard your bond so it remains aligned with heaven's values, not the lure of personal gain. Your combined purpose will act like a resonant frequency in the spiritual realm. In physics, resonance amplifies a signal far beyond its original strength when two frequencies match perfectly in the same way. When your vision and your partner's vision are aligned in Christ, heaven amplifies your reach. Doors will open you didn't even know existed, and strongholds you thought unshakable will begin to crumble. This is not just about survival, it's about dominion. It's about walking into cities, projects, and callings, knowing you are not alone. And when people ask how you endured, you will tell them it was not endurance alone that carried you, it was covenant. As Amos 3:3 says, "Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" Your answer will be a living testimony to what happens when two chosen ones walk in step with God's heartbeat. Chosen one. If there is one truth you must carry from this journey, it is this: true strength is not measured solely by the battles you can fight alone, but by the courage to walk alongside the one God has sent for a divine purpose. When the Lord unites two lives under heaven's mandate, the ripple is not confined to this moment. It shapes generations, dismantles the plans of the enemy, and builds legacies that cannot be erased. Every step taken together is more than progress. It is a declaration to both heaven and hell. We are chosen, and we will not be moved. Oh, if today's message resonated in the depths of your spirit, I invite you to like this video, share it so that others may find the same encouragement. Comment your thoughts below, and subscribe so you never miss the words heaven is releasing over your life. To every soul watching, whether you have supported through super thanks or simply by showing up, listening, and standing with us, I offer my deepest gratitude. Every view, every prayer, every share is a seed sown into the kingdom of God, carrying an impact you may never fully see, but heaven does. Now, may the blessing of the Lord overflow in your life, peace that no storm can shatter, strength that no darkness can diminish, and a future written by the very hand of the Creator. Step forward, chosen one, for the skies have opened, the way is prepared, and your appointed season has arrived.